Hi, this is Pete Edwards with Tiberius Arms. I'm just going to go through a simple breakdown and reassembly of the Tiberius 8 pistol. There will be links in the video if you'd like to go into more detail on any given component. First thing for disassembly, always want to make sure you take out your magazine, set it aside, and also your barrel. Barrel's on a one-touch system. You're just going to press the front of the barrel in, rotate it away from you, it'll slide right out. Also, you want to dump this little spring here, set it to the side as well. Next thing you want to do is take a 3/32 Allen wrench and you want to push out the pin directly above the trigger. There's a little silver pin there that'll press out on either side. Just take an Allen wrench, start it, give it a little tap, it'll fall right out of there. Next, you have 3 screws, one in the front of the handle here, one in the rear of the handle, and then one underneath the barrel inside the gun body. On the newer T8s, you'll notice that they're underneath the trigger guard here with a hole through the trigger guard to get to them, but on the originals it was on the inside there. Once you get to those 4 things out, you just lift the front of this barrel so it goes like that. Then there's a little round side here for the regulator. You just want to lift up and twist away from that, and it'll kind of unlock the whole thing. You'll notice this spring right here fell out. That sits on the bushing that goes through the safety. What that does is apply tension to the safety so that it clicks back and forth. You just want to set it aside. It's easily lost. In the handle, you'll see there's a bushing that goes through that safety that holds the screw in, and then the safety itself can come out for cleaning. You just scissor it together on its pin, push it together, and it'll just feed out one of the sides there. Just like that. You'll notice it's just on one pin. It's on one pin that just scissors back and forth. Just comes out easily in case you ever want to take it apart, clean it, that kind of thing. Stick that bushing back up in there. I'm going to set that handle aside. Next, you have one screw here next to the intake stem. And pop that off. That'll release your whole trigger components and regulator in one house. There we go. And that just sets aside. Then, if we set that down, grab a 7/64 Allen wrench. There's 4 screws in the back of the gun. The original version, there's a few of them out there that only have 2 screws in the top, but you shouldn't come across that very often. The screws are all the same length. They're a 7/64 Allen key. Spin all those out, and that will release your engine assembly. That has your bolt here, whole contraption. That leaves just the gun body. The only piece still on the gun body is your front sight, and this piece right here. On the bottom, you'll notice this little horseshoe in front of the breech. I'll go ahead and take it off. We call this an ammo release fork. What it does is it has these 2 little ramps. I'll show you once I get it off here. It has these 2 little ramps, and what it does is when the magazine goes down onto it, it's what pulls the bar back and allows the balls to feed. Should never need to come off the gun, but every once in a while you'll see one that's cracked due to something getting up in there with the magazine or whatnot. Also 3/32 Allen keys. I take it off when I'm going to clean the gun, hot water, something like that, just so I don't get water on these screws. And just give them a solid lockdown. And we'll go back to reassembly. Engine in the back. These 4 screws down. Lock them in place. Okay, once we get that engine locked down, the next thing to do is, as always, anytime this part comes off the gun body, you have to take an Allen wrench to the back lip of this bolt, push it forward. It has to happen every time or the gun will not fire. Also, there's an O-ring here in the back that is black. This one stays in pretty well. Some of them aren't quite as snug. They'll fall out when you take that apart. You know, you moved it over here, something like that. Just always want to check that that's in place when you push the bolt, since it is a very big leak if it's not in place. Next, we just, with our bolt push forward, barrel out, we set our regulator back into place. Put that screw in there. So 3/32. You'll notice it has a lock washer. Let me see if I can show that a little bit better. It has a little lock washer on it here. That's just to distinguish it from the other screws, since they all look so similar. Go ahead and lock that back down. Now on reassembly, what I do is I hold the gun, like I'm right-handed, I'm going to hold it like I were going to shoot it with my right hand. That way I can hold my finger here up on that bushing, and that bushing won't fall down, such as that. So I hold that like I'm going to shoot it with that pushing up. Then I take my middle finger on this hand and I push that linkage arm. So that way my trigger is dangling from the rest of it. I just fit it down through the hole. Then starting at the back of the gun, put the back end of the gun down in, and it'll just kind of clip down flush. Now what I do is I get the gun to here, I then re-lift back up to scissors to put the spring back over top of the bushing, clip it back down. I always put this middle screw back in first just to lock it all into place. And then from there you just want to put this pin back in. Again, it'll go in either side. And put your 2 screws back in. Snug them down pretty tight. The shortest one in the front, longest one in the back. Spring into place. Barrel into place. Mag in.